Hello, everyone. This is Justine. So Justine's originally from England, but has constantly lived overseas her whole life. She's a world traveler. Her base is now in Barcelona, Spain, but she's regularly traveling for months at a time, mostly to escape the cold weather. And she is a clear coater who's had amazing success. So I'm so happy to have you here today with me, Justine. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. So tell me a little bit about how you found me. Again, I love talking about your journey because you are a world traveler and I consider myself kind of a world traveler. You're a bigger world than me. But tell me a little bit about your acne journey and kind of how long you had acne before you found me and before you found the Clear Coat program.
Yeah, so I feel like it wasn't ever that extreme for most of my life. I feel like as a teen, I had the usual breakouts, but I wouldn't have said I had like acne. Yeah. And then when I entered my 20s, it maybe got a bit worse. And then I guess that's when I got more interested in like products and trying to figure out like the reason behind it. And then the time that I remember it was like becoming a problem was, I think, around 2020, like around COVID time. That was when I was getting really confused by it and when it was like becoming more like apparent.
Yeah. Okay. And so what did you search for at the time in 2020?
Well, before that, it was mainly products. And then afterwards, I was thinking more about food, and it was kind of like getting overwhelmed with what people were telling me. So I would switch between like, I don't know, someone told me to quit oat milk because of the glycemic index, and then someone told me to quit soy, but then someone told me to quit dairy, and like just like getting really overwhelmed by it. So I think it was around then that I realized it was more complex than just like the products I was using and stuff.
Okay. So you realized there was like a deeper root thing happening for you and you didn't know what it was.
Yeah. And it was actually funny because at the time, because I'm a graphic designer, and at the time I was doing some branding work for this beauty salon called The Face Workout, and they do like face massages and like stuff with gua sha and all that. So obviously they were like, oh, like use this. And then I like, again, it was just like, they're obviously not actually experts. They're people who work in like cosmetics, kind of. Yeah. Like they are experts in like some things, but like they're not dermatologists. So like, again, it was just being told so many different things and like getting overwhelmed.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember, so I healed my acne a long time ago, but I would say if I went to search for things on the internet now,
yeah,
I'm so freaking confused. And do you remember where you found me?
Yeah, I remember because I discovered Jessica DeFino, the beauty writer, because I became obsessive how like obviously like you can't really trust anyone anymore in like the beauty industry. So I remember reading that, and then I followed you on Instagram, and then I think over the course of a year I would like dip in and out, and then I would maybe DM you the odd question because I think maybe like I was in denial that I like needed to commit, and I thought maybe there's just one little thing that I need to like figure out before I really was like, this is just stupid. I just need to like invest the money and the time into it.
Yeah, I think a lot of us want to do it on our own, understandably. And on that note, I guess, so you realized, okay, I need to invest and commit. Were you nervous about that at all?
Yeah, I think because I know that my life is like always changing, and something that I realized afterwards, I think I got a tiny bit triggered by the idea of doing a program because it reminded me of like weight loss programs.
Okay.
And like only because obviously you talk about like meal plans and like eating, and like because I'm not like super skinny and my weight's always fluctuating, it kind of triggered me like a little bit. But then when I like, it's like the best plan ever because like I actually loved it because I'm normally really lazy at like my weekly meals, and it made me like actually get excited to eat different things, and you can eat as much as you want, and like so that was fine. But that was just part of like me realizing like maybe why I was like a bit nervous to do it.
Yeah, food, fear, freedom, restriction, all that is given that detail and how much you travel and move around. Have you found that to be easy and something that's totally fitable, integrated into your life?
Yeah, I remember when we first started, I was hesitant because it was exactly this time last year. So it was like peak summer. And I was like, oh, I've got so many plans. I've got like weddings, I've got holidays, and I was like, I don't want to ruin my summer like doing this, because in my head I thought I was going to be eating like I don't know, I like not being able to eat out and stuff, but it was totally fine. And like I think because I would say like the program was 8 weeks, but I think I did probably longer, just because I was in and out, like I probably did 80% rather than 100%, because I had to like do different things, but I was fine with that. Like I think that's the best thing about the program, that if you do need a bit longer, like you just take a bit longer and it will just come, basically.
Yeah, that is definitely too why I employ the lifetime access is, I mean, again, it's like you, I love traveling. I love having a lot of variety in my life. And if I need to make a vegan breakfast every morning to have clear skin, like I'm not going to have clear skin, you know? And same goes for you guys. Like you all have really varied different lifestyles and everyone needs something a little different. So I'm so glad to hear that it's been like easy to integrate and that you've done it at your own pace too. Did you ever feel pressure to figure it out fast, or did you feel like, okay, I've got some time with this?
I mean, I definitely had moments where my skin took a step back. Like I was really, really ill over the winter for like 4 weeks. It was so bad. But then when I spoke to you, you were like, well, obviously your skin's going to take a hit because you've not like eaten vegetables or gone outside for like ever. So it's just like obvious. So just times like that. But then I had to just remember, like, I know my key things that I have to do to get back to it. And it honestly was so easy.
And what would you say has been kind of the biggest mindset shift, if you had to define one on the Clear Code or as a result of the Clear Code?
I think just like you always say, like progress over perfection, and like just letting myself like go off. Like, I mean, I'm not even on a plan, like, do you know what I mean? But like letting myself eat whatever I want. And then I know that as long as I have like certain things in my diet, like I'll more or less be fine. And also like I have like one spot now. It's actually the first one I've had in ages, but then I want to remind myself, like, don't get annoyed at having one spot, because in the past that would have been like amazing, and it is still amazing, but like just like that's just skin, isn't it? Like you're never going to have 100% clear skin, because it's like it's an organ. So yeah.
What would you say have been the biggest things that have helped you? Like the key actual action steps that helped you clear your skin?
I think just discovering my like triggers, basically. And like, like that mine is mostly hormonal acne. I think that, because I actually thought it was going to be mostly to do with my like stomach issues and my IBS, but I think it was more to do with my hormones. Obviously some to do with my diet and stuff, but yeah, just discovering like the 2 or 3 key ingredients, like having the tea every night is like, that's like my religion now. I like never go without it, because I just feel like that's just what I need to do. And then like cutting out like I try to keep like soy to a minimum. I'm trying to introduce it back in now, which I think is why I might have a spot on my face, but I'm not sure. But yeah, just like, I mean, yeah, just the key few things that you need to be consistent with, I think.
Yeah, gotcha. And did you feel supported during this experience? Because I know having acne can be really kind of like, oh, I'm alone and no one's helping me. Were there elements of support that you felt throughout the program in your experience?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think to talk to people who actually know what they're talking about, rather than like, because one thing I found is when I speak to my friends and my family, obviously like everyone's trying to help, but they're just telling you things they don't know. They'll be like, oh, well, just don't eat sugar, or it's because you're having like bread, and like, you know, they don't really know what they're talking about. So it's like, I think on the one hand, nice to talk to experts, but then also, yeah, like I don't really have any friends going through the same thing. So yeah, it was really nice to be able to just like write, like if you have a skin win, or seeing other people on their journey, for sure. That was like really encouraging. And also like being able to see people like ahead of you, I think really helped. Like when I first started, and then I go on and be like, someone would post like, oh, I'm in week 8 and I'm dealing with my scarring. It made you think like, oh, this actually works. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. How are you feeling about your skin now today, Justine?
Oh my God, I like talk about it all the time, because like obviously it's summer, so I don't want to wear like foundation every day. And that's always been my goal. Like I just didn't want to have to wear foundation. I still wear like tinted SPF just because of like my pigmentation and stuff. But I just like the scarring. I just can't believe it's going. And like I said before, I've just had like a a month of like partying, basically, like drank so much, like ate loads of bad food, and my skin's like fine. It's just like a miracle.
Yeah. Like when you know your root triggers, like when you know what's going on, it's so much easier because then you just adjust those things, right? It's like, that's all you have to figure out is that root triggers challenge. And then once you figure that out, it's like golden.
Yeah, exactly. It just seems like so like way too easy because I know what to eat and what not to eat, but like it's really easy. I thought I'd be having to do like the meal plan forever, but like it's not like that.
Yeah. So how do you like approach when this isn't a question I prepared you for, but I think it'll be easy. When you're going to like eat breakfast or eat lunch or eat dinner.
Yeah.
How do you think about your meals now? Is it just like, oh, I'm just going to grab my old, the riff on what the clear code breakfast was? Or like, how do you think about those things to like you clear without being on the meal plan?
I'd say a bit of both, like, because I'm a bit of a sweet tooth, but if I don't have sweet things in, I don't think about it. But basically I solve that by having a protein shake every morning because I just love it. It's like ice cream. So I did that before the clear code. And then I was like, oh my God, I can do it during. And now I still do it. And then, yeah, I just make sure I get my cruciferous vegetables when I can, try not to eat gluten at home. And just, yeah, also like, because it's hand in hand with my IBS, like intuitive eating, I guess, and what makes me feel good. I just like find the food that I love as well. So it doesn't feel like restrictive basically. But yeah, my main things are just like, I think just cutting out gluten helps me. And then soy, I'm being mindful of, but I love it. So I'm just like figuring that out at the moment. But yeah, just having my few like staples that like I know work for me. And then when I go out, I just eat what I want because I love food. So
what would you tell? So you mentioned, this is the last question I'll ask. You mentioned that for a while you felt like you could just do it on your own and you were trying to do it on your own. What would you tell that self? Like if you could go back and or talk to anyone who's trying to do it on their own, but like feeling like they're stuck, do you have any advice for someone who's trying to heal their acne naturally and feels like they can't figure it out?
Yeah, I mean, just speak to an expert. Like definitely, like it's worth it. And I think it's amazing that you offer the installment plan as well, because obviously it's like a privilege to be able to do this. Like not everyone would be able to, and it's a shame that the medical industry isn't more open to like alternative routes. Like, I mean, I grew up in a family that was obsessed with alternative medicine, so I'm like kind of used to like seeking out other solutions. But yeah, just to like seek out advice really, because it can be really overwhelming, for sure. Like even on your socials, you give like, if you piece together all your tips, like you're halfway there already anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure. You could probably, if you watched every single YouTube video and like you could definitely do it for sure.
Yeah.
It's just being committed to it, also being sure of it too. Like that's key, right? You got to be sure that it's going to work.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Last question for you. What's been the best thing, the best transformation that's come out of the clear code for you?
Well, one of them that I didn't expect to, well, no, it's obviously important, but just like my scarring, like I just thought that you couldn't get rid of scarring like that quickly or ever. Like, that's what I find amazing. I thought I was gonna have scarring like forever, but it's honestly like my face is like clear. It's insane. I find that a bit crazy.
Oh, I love it, Justine. I love it. Well, let me know if you have anything else to add, but if not, I'm so thankful for you. And I knew like you were such kindred. I felt like you were kindred soul. That last summer, I was like, oh, I can help her. And because I know I get the schedule. I did it for 18 months for sure. I traveled a ton years and years ago. Yeah. And so I understand the like instability in the schedule. Right. And so I remember us talking and I remember being like, oh, if she just follows these things and sticks to them, like she'll be able to be surfing in Portugal, she'll be able to do all these things and she won't have to worry about her skin. So that's been the most exciting thing for me is that like you travel and you live free and your skin is clear.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, thank you so much. Like you've honestly changed my life.
Thank you. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. And thank you so much for being here with me.
Yeah, no worries.